What's up, good people? What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, February the 10th, 2021, and welcome to this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. You guys know how we do it each and every week. Each and every week, Dialogues with Doc comes on at 8 o'clock p.m., and our goal is to just provide great dialogue about certain various topics that I basically come up with that I decide I want to talk about. So this is what I do each and every week. So thank you guys so much who are joining me for the first time on this evening. If you're returning, thank you. It's a lot, and I get constantly great feedback from you guys with regards to the shows, with regards to the guests, with regards to the topics, and how you can further support them and stay connected to them and stay engaged. And my main priority is to just get this great content out and bring on some great guests who are in the field doing a bunch of great things. You guys know how I roll and how I operate each and every week. You know, I do have some housekeeping rules. So if you're watching right now, the housekeeping rules haven't changed. Like the broadcast, comment throughout the broadcast, and share the broadcast if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you will get notifications immediately when we go live each and every week. So if you're watching right now, please do me a favor, like the broadcast, comment throughout the broadcast, and share the broadcast as well. And if on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I see Dana's already in the building. Hey, Dana, I love you. Thank you for joining me yet again. I love you so much, my sister. Thank you for hopping in on tonight. Of course, you guys also know, I need to know, where are you watching from? Or if you're watching right now, put in the chat, put in the comments where you are watching from. I'm going to hold down for the whole DMV area, for the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area till they get here, because they're coming, because my guest is in that same area. So I know they're coming tonight and they're going to show up in great numbers. So Dana's checked in. She's in Philly. The DMV is in the building. I know my Dallas people are in the building somewhere. I know y'all are out there somewhere. Holler back if you hear me. I love you, Dana. If you guys are watching, go ahead and chime in. Tell me where you are watching. You guys know each and every week my goal is to provide great content and bring on great guests. And one thing I love about this show is, if there's a question or a topic that I'm not an expert on, I know people, or I'm connected to people, or I'm connected to people that know people that can help circumvent some of the questions and topics that just randomly pop up in my head each and every week. For those of you who are joining for the first time, I came up with this concept in the midst of COVID. I wanted to provide a platform for people to talk about various topics and different issues. So Dialogues with Doc was birthed in August of 2021. Sorry, 2020, my bad, 2020. And we're just going to keep this thing going, that same energy, that same concept. Dana, last week was fire. Yes, Dana, it was. And we're going to keep that same fire going. Hey, John, DMV is in the building. We're going to keep that same fire and energy going on tonight, because I know my guest has a lot of information to share. My guest has a lot of things to download. And I just hope and pray that what I've come up with as far as guiding this conversation comes out the way that I have it planned. Because as you know, this guy, things can go real right or real wrong. But every time I've met him, things have gone right between he and I. But I'm not sure about other people. But he's just that conduit of information that just flows and is out there to help people. So I'm just so excited to have my amazing guest on tonight to join me on this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. When I reached out to him, I really didn't know what direction this was going to go. But after knowing him for as long as I've known him and being entrenched in the work that he's entrenched in, it pretty much popped up in my head about the topic of just self-discovery. So each week I try to give the show a topic or an avenue to go down. So we may have a one-on-one conversation with someone. It may be about, I think I've had the light edition. I think I've had the Black Males in Higher Ed edition. Tonight is simply about self-discovery. The work that my amazing guest is engulfed in tonight has helped him successfully navigate life in a number of ways. So what better way to what better way or thing to talk about tonight than just self-discovery, about who he is, about what he does, and how he helps people. So I'm going to get this thing started. I'm going to get this thing jumping. Again, if you're watching the show tonight, please like the broadcast. Please share the broadcast. Of course, you guys know we engage, so comment if you have questions or want to share something, comment. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way, each and every week, you will get an alert when I do go live. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. You guys know how I operate. You guys know how I do. When I bring a guest on Dialogues with Doc, I have to bring them on the right way. People could be doing a whole bunch of different things. for whatever reason. And so when I bring a guest on, I like to honor them and give them their flowers and just, thank them in a major way for joining me on the show. So tonight is no different. I'm going to get this thing going to set up for my guest. Hold on. My brother, how are you?
Doing? All right. What's going on?
Man, I'm honored, man. I'm honored that you're in the building tonight joining me. I'm honored to have you on as a guest. I just thank you for saying yes, man. How are you this evening, this beautiful Wednesday evening? How are things going with you? How are you maneuvering through the pandemic and all that kind of stuff?
I'm doing well. I'm just thankful that you asked. I do a lot of stuff on social media and a lot of speaking stuff. So usually I'm never really asked to do anything with someone else who has a platform. So as odd as it may seem, I'm just honored to be part of the space. I don't know how to react to this. So thank you for having me on board. I appreciate it.
Listen, I totally understand. But my main goal and my main priority in this space is just to provide space. And, I can't talk by myself, that probably would get boring. Of course, I'm an educator. Of course, I'm an educator by profession, but sometimes I need some help. So I said, let me reach out to JoJo, and look, and hope he says yes. And you did. So thank you for saying yes, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on board. I tend to get a little distant with my colleagues when it comes down to, as another therapist, I didn't know if people liked me, you know what I mean? So what happens is that I tend to be like, because I can go a little left or right when it comes down to how I approach things with healing and mental health, and I can be a bit direct and everything else. So a lot of times I tend to get like, no, I don't know about him, but this one is better. So I don't know. You know what I
mean? No. I need you tonight. I need you tonight. So I'm glad you're here. I'm honored that you're a part, and we gonna just jump into this thing. Is that cool?
That's cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. No. So look. So of course I have to start off with the basics. So the basics are just tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do. You carry you wear so many hats, and I'm jealous right now because of the hat that you have on. I'm in love with it. So I'm gonna have to talk to you offline about how I can get it or how I can be down like Brandy and get me one. But tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do.
Well, I'm a 20-year experienced mental health therapist, clinical social worker. I've been doing this work since 2002. So I've worked primarily in Washington, D.C. with African-American people. Right now, I kind of work for myself. I do some coaching. I also am employed in Atlanta. I do a lot of online therapeutic services groups, individual therapy about self-love, healing, self-esteem, growth. I also maintain a platform on Facebook called The Misunderstood Social Worker, which basically I try to kind of attack it in the space of mental health, healing, self-love, healing for all groups of people. And I incorporate, a little bit of storytelling, spoken word, experience stuff, just to kind of lift people up. And I shoot at the hip. So it can be a bit raw, but I feel like there's a space for people in that tradition of healing people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I wanted to jump out about that you said about the rawness. I think that's one thing that attracts me to you is the fact that you're able to go there, but with a standard of care when you approach it. And that's a great area for many people. Many people can't come across as being intrusive but caring at the same time. And I guess the rawness allows people to relate to you more, to know I'm pretty sure he's going there, but I got a feeling he's not going to mishandle me in the end. So no, thank you for your rawness and how you approach it, because it makes it more real and makes it more relatable to how you connect with people and how people connect with you, man. So no, thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for telling me that. I guess for me, my grandfather, who inspired everything that I do, he tells me all the time, handle people with care, but be honest with them in the process. And so my goal is to uplift. I love Black men. I care for Black men. I'm all about uplifting Black men. In a space where you don't see a lot of that, particularly on television, we're portrayed a particular way. So I do know in a space where emotions are kind of frowned upon, my goal is to be as real with them because they desire that, but then also to be very loving with them. For some people, it's very foreign because they never had two extremes. And so
Right.
I learned that if you just give me an opportunity to work myself in, you'll be able to feel it. And miraculously, women love it. On social media, I get bombarded every day with DMs and emails about, hey, do you have any space available and anything else? So far it's been working for me on social media as well as in my private practice. So I've been really excited. It's been a blessing. I've garnered so much support from so many different people. And initially, I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember when I started doing my because I kind of started in 2014. I was doing like little anecdotal videos and stuff like that, being very by the book. Hi, it's Joseph Williams, the misunderstood social worker. And then I realized that that wasn't me, and I started to just go hard. And I have a baby brother who's actually 29, and I'm well in my 40s. So he was like, Joe, why don't you just be yourself, like the one that I talk to on the phone or the one that's working with the clients? Because I think you're. And he said, what's the fear? And I'm like, I love my colleagues, even though I don't know most of them. And I'm always thinking that based on what we learned in class and what we learned in the book, I should be a certain way because I don't want to be judged or, and then once I started being myself, that's when everything kind of worked for me on social media. And then I got a call from Black Therapist Rock, like, hey, we want you to host our conference.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, they like me? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wait a minute, they like
Whoa.
me. And it was like, we want you to host the whole thing. We want you to do these panels. We're going to pay you X, Y, and Z amount of money. And I'm like, y'all knew who I was. And they were like, they share your videos in our group. And I go to the group and it's like 30,000 people over there. And I'm just like, wow. And then to be in conferences and see other workers, both Black and white, other therapists say, yo, I love him. I'm amazed by him. I'm inspired by him. I thought that they wasn't messing with me. Of course, people like you, Dr. Calvin, I was like, they don't like me. You know what I mean? So I just didn't realize.
Hey, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. You thought, yeah, they fool with me like that. I didn't
Right.
think.
Because
Okay.
because I felt like the people liked it, but I didn't know how my colleagues would receive it. And as I developed in this and as I matured, and as I've grown as well as healed myself in the same process, I started to realize this is what it needs to be. And if my space is safe. However, if it's not a space for a particular person, then there's tons of people that you can access online because we out here. And I think that there needs to be more visibility. To be honest with you, when I see things by Sister Taraji P. Henson, or when I see shows like Insecure, and they're like, oh, I got a therapist, well, at least she's Black. And I'm just like, every therapist I know is Black. Like, I know thousands of male therapists. Like, yo, we out here. But I think that that's the limitation of Hollywood and LA, where I'm not from, but I'm from Cali. So when you see the limitation of Black professionals who work in this arena, it's kind of like, oh, I don't see that many Black therapists, where it's like a relic. But in reality, every therapist that I know looks just like me.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that because people will make you think that there aren't people out there that look like us that can help us in that realm. Yes, Dana, you're right. He's very authentic. This guy, I can vouch for this one. It's very, very authentic. And when you said the part about the therapists there are therapists that look like us, but because they're not highly sought out, people don't know that. So it's important that we change the narrative in that regard, because I feel like everyone needs a therapist. Everyone needs someone to talk to, because talking to yourself, I learned from my own personal experience, it doesn't work all the time. But if I speak to someone who's
right, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Dr. Calvin, but
no, you're good.
Please let me say this. The problem that I have with and I love entertainment. I love all of that stuff. I've done a little bit of modeling, in my old age, and I've worked with a few people. But I will say this. The problem that I have is these reality shows. And what I mean by the reality show is that a lot of times they bring on a coach, because coaches tend to go directly to the problem, and it's about coaching them out of the problem. And as a therapist, this is how I compare what we do. So a lot of times when I'm online, I did something with a big time kind of viral person, and everybody was like, yo, she gonna need Iyanla. I'm like, yo, I have more credentials than Iyanla, right? But they're thinking it's gonna be some attacking coach or somebody on social media who's a coach that's gonna be like, yo, you can I curse?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, where some coaches like, you ain't shit, you a crackhead, and we don't work from that space all the time. So a lot of times it's kind of like, we need as a therapist, this is what I compare our roles to be. A life coach deals with the top of the glove.
Okay.
The therapist turns the glove inside out and looks at what's inside of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Which
good.
makes the outside look a certain way. And so I think a lot of times they only access coaches on reality TV is because they go straight to the nitty gritty. And with us, we have to do that deeper work, that repair work. And if you look at anybody who's been on, with all due respect to Auntie Ayala, if you look at anybody who's been in that space, it ain't no repair. You can't fix somebody's life in 22 minutes, baby. And they're going to always have to come back because the real work is not being addressed. You know what I mean? And I guess it's mythical. And I love Iyanla. I've done some work with her. She's texted me. She's called me. And we've also had this conversation. So in the space of coaching versus therapy, what we do is a little bit deeper. We go a little heavier. We're repairing and we're unpacking. And we're pulling things out. A lot of times with coaching, it's like, okay, let me get you to a space where you can go to the doctor. Let me get you to a space where you can sit down with your mother. But in reality, let's talk about all of the things that your mother calls, which makes you react this way. Then we can get you to a space where the coach can come in and take you to your mama. You know what I mean? So I feel like in that same tradition of coaching and all that other stuff, when people look at reality TV, because it's so much of it, when they call me for therapy, they're thinking that it's a coaching session, when in reality, we're starting from the basics and working our way up. So a lot of them have a false perception of what therapy is supposed to be. A lot of them thinking I'm going to be doing projects with you and got you digging holes in the ground and putting, it's a bunch of stuff. Now, we do stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like it's more of a process. And it's the way the client actually approaches it. So I find it to be amusing. And real talk, Doc, and I hope you don't mind me calling you Doc, but I just love it.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
It's a black man. I gotta bow down. But the reality of it is that, I've been in conversations with people about like reality TV. I got a call from, a couple of years ago, and I could talk about it now, with Sister Mona Scott Young. And I was told that based on the way I approach things, I'm not palatable for her shows. And that did break my spirit a little bit. And because palatable could mean so many different things. Am I not attractive? Do I look too old? Like, what is it? And it was something that I said, I'm here to do some real repair work. Even if it's semi-scripted, I'm here to do some real repair work. I don't want to see a black man or black woman or two black women fighting each other in front of a space where we're supposed to be healing. Now, I understand that makes good TV, but, I'm a human being too. And that just doesn't sit well with me if I have to sit there and manage that. And I got.
And it's draining. And it's draining as a professional. Like I have a whole license. Like being in that space can mess up my license, my licensure.
Absolutely. And then after this opportunity, I still need to see clients. You know what I mean? After this opportunity, I still need to see clients. And then based on editing and the way things look, this may end up being a negative situation for me and my functioning and my future and my growth and progression as a person who wants to heal genuinely. So I was told that I wasn't palatable. I did get a call back about some other stuff, but it was what it was. So they chose somebody who looks completely opposite of you and I. So it is what it is. And, I respect nothing but what they do. And I love people who are out here making it happen. But it's unfortunate that, someone who's been in the bullhorn for a very long time, since like 2014. And I'm thankful because I see so many other therapists getting these opportunities to shine and build their platforms up. But it's just like, I've been here forever. Like, what's good? Like, holla at your boy, But I always tell people, there's tons of males. Like, we want to get out here too. I look at you, Doc. We're out here. We're doing our own flyers. We're trying to push the ideas. Even if it's two people watching, we out here because everybody's gonna see.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
And just even having a conversation with Iyanla, she told me you don't have to go viral with what you're doing. Foolishness goes viral. You're gonna get stopped on the street, and that's real time. You know what I mean? I've been on panels with people like, with all due respect, Sister T.S. Madison and all these people, and I booked the same amount of money that they booked. Oh, but they know this person, but I come to the table with the credential. You know what I mean? So you getting this $2,500-$3,500 back in the day. What she would book for way more now. But I'm making the same amount because I come with a
Right.
level of expertise, whether you know me or not. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
think that, you know, it's hard work. And as Black male therapists and healers, we catch the flack more because a lot of people don't trust us coming into the door, or they don't think that we are
That's it.
able to empathize or be emotional or be able to manage emotion, because some of their trauma could be tied to expectation of Black men or their own experiences with Black men. And so I've
Right.
learned that even with working with men, both Black men and women, I have to prove myself in the beginning, in the very beginning. So you know, once you get them locked in, you can't get rid of them. You can't shake them off.
Yep.
But they put you through hell in the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm just talking away. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. You're perfectly fine. What you're doing is you're perfectly fine. You're making me rethink my flow because I had like some points over here, but I'm just flow. I'm just flow. So I want to go back to something you said about the life coach and the therapist. So the misunderstood social worker clearly said, for you guys who didn't catch it, it's okay to have a life coach and a therapist. Some people think you can't have both, but in the space that we live in, you have to have both. You need someone to, oh, that was nice. You need someone to make you dig deep. You need someone to make you to go deeper. A lot of times we're our own worst enemy, and a life coach will only take you but so far, but a therapist can take you even further. So I appreciate you definitely saying that. The other piece about Ayanla, you do know she's done. I mean, not done like that, but it there's maybe a transition where the network may need to look at someone who's ready to do the real work or to make someone dig deeper. Because, like you said, a 22-minute show will produce a 10-second sound bite that will go viral, but the real work is what they don't show. The real work is what happens outside the space, and you have to have someone who is willing to tack on and do the work to make the person dig deeper. Because a lot of times, as a therapist, what I'm sure you found out is a lot of people are afraid to do the digging deep, but when they have an extra layer or standard of care or someone there to do it with them, they find it a little bit easier to navigate it and to tap in to be able to do that. So no, you're perfectly fine. Thank you for sharing that, and I want to ask you, just out of curiosity, how did you choose the field of social work, and how did you find balance? Because it's a very demanding space to be in. But how did you choose it, and then how do you find balance taking? Because you're like me, I'm an educator. We take on our students' problems or our clients' problems, and sometimes I have to come home, take a shower, and sit in the dark just to decompress from the day because so much has happened or been thrown at me from my students, and I have to just get back to my own center. So how do you handle that?
Okay, the first part of the question, how did I choose social work? It's a long story. My grandfather is really my granddaddy's 91. Shout out to my grandfather who raised me, and who I love dearly. That's my king. So he's heavy. Well, he was heavy into the community. He's very old now, so he's still active, but he was very active in the community for which I'm from in East Palo Alto, California. Very well with politics and Black stuff. And when I say Black stuff, that means disenfranchisement, mass shootings, mass incarceration, those type of things, as well as spirituality and healing of Black men. So a lot of the people that actually surrounded him, that he was surrounded by, were advocates and social workers. And I knew that when I was a kid that I wanted to inspire people. I knew that I wanted to use words to heal. I knew that I wanted to look people in their face. And then someone who grew up in the 80s, when I saw Michael Jackson's, what is the name of that song? Man in the Mirror. And I saw all
Hmm.
of the global traveling that he did to heal people and how much money he was donating to feed Africa and feed the sick and stuff. I said, I want to do that. And I also want to inspire people. And so there's this, he was a young Ben, he's older now, but his name is Gary Beasley, and he's a social worker in Oakland, California. He was a young social worker, like 20 something year old male, very fly, very beautiful. And he took me under his wing. And so when it came down to something that I wanted to choose when I was going to Tuskegee University, I said, I want to be a therapist. And I want to be able to heal people. I want to be able to look Black men in the face and help them through things of all walks of life, as well as our sisters. And so it was almost like God was putting me in a position to work in this field. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I have a bachelor's in social work and a master's. So I worked anywhere from adjudication to working in juvenile justice system, the prisons, school system, special education, level 4 schools, to child and family services of DC. And I was going to do a little symbol, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to respect them. But I will say this. I do a lot of stuff. I pray. I'm a Christian. I do believe in Jesus. I do believe in balancing my chakras. I have stones here. I have healing mechanisms. I burn sage and Palo Santos. I take healing baths. I use, patchouli and all kind of sorts of candles to kind of set a space in my home. Whenever people come over here, I use sound therapy, like singing bowls. I'm pretty sure you've seen videos of me with my singing bowl. And if you ever come to my crib, I always make men do the singing bowl, the love chakra singing bowl, just to put love around us. And so
I'm coming.
Yes, come through. I always have a method of music and meditation, as well as healing myself in prayers. It's also good to have mentors that can help you get through things. If I was to be very transparent, for the past 2 months, I burned out. Where it wasn't the clients, and this is what every person needs to know. When a therapist or a social worker burns out, it's not the client. It is the person's lack of self-care or taking on too much, which prevents them from being able to take care of themselves, or having been bombarded with everything, and then also being in a space of, I want to help someone. So I have a mentor who's been doing this a very long time, and she snatched me up. You need to come to my house. We're going to order vegan food. We're going to cleanse our bodies. We're going to drink burdock root tea to flush our blood. We're going to use some amazing oils to get ourselves together, and we're going to reapproach this, and we're going to look at every case that we have and see what can we do to approach this differently. And so for me, it's always about doing that inner work self. I'm always writing anecdotes on social media which are healing. I'm always looking at self. If I could pay attention to someone else's thing, I need to listen to myself sometimes too. Not talk to myself, but why do I have an attitude today? Why do I don't feel like doing it today? What am I not doing to secure a certain space? We've been working from home under the pandemic, so it's been difficult. It's been like, I've been in my house for a year, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Every now and again, I want to do some bald-headed hoe shit too. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I mean, that ain't the move right now. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
How do I get myself to a space where I can feel beautiful? I can be really focusing on my mind and my body, as well as hearing voices that aren't so negative and that aren't so demanding that I heal, as opposed to healing myself. So it's all about a balance. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you're right. No, you did. Daniel, you're right. That self-care is serious. It's amazing how, even if I'm being transparent, being in this virtual space as an educator, I'm burned out. Like we've been doing this thing for a year. We thought that it would be maybe a couple of months, and it's a lot. So we have to constantly make ourselves practice and appreciate self-care more, because this is a lot. And it's sad when you're always pouring and don't even have the capacity to pour sometimes. And on those days when you don't have the capacity to pour, you pick up a glass, and one thing we know about a glass, there's always some form of residue left in the bottom of the glass. And sometimes we don't even have any residue at the bottom of the glass because we're strapped. We're completely burnt out. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to go. So thank God for friends like you were speaking of, that's the mentor, to kind of check us and get us back together. Like, no, I'm not gonna let you go out like that. And you have to have and you said earlier about the Black males, you're passionate about that area. A lot of us don't have. We got boys that say, let's go to the club and do some bald-headed hoe shit. We don't have boys that say, nah, man, we practicing some self-care stuff today. We gonna relax. We gonna go to the spa. We're gonna just, if something as simple as going to the National Mall and just having a picnic or something on the open grass, just to breathe and just to relax and just to take the cares of whatever may have attempted to take us out. But we have people to redirect us to just push on a little bit harder and push on a little bit more. So no, thank you for saying that, because I know as a social worker and in that field, sometimes we, like you said, we've been in this. This thing will be a year in March that we've been on. What you call it?
quarantine.
Lockdown, like quarantine, lockdown. Everybody got an ankle bracelet on because we can't go nowhere. We can't.
This is the ankle bracelet.
Everybody on house arrest.
This is the ankle bracelet. The mask is the ankle bracelet.
Listen, look, the darn mask. People got masks because the acne and stuff is not. Oh Lord, we go. Okay, we got it. Look, if you're watching tonight, self-care is important. Hashtag self-care. Keep it going. Keep it moving. Tony, I'm trying my best to tell the truth. Dana, you're right. It's just the glass is just dry because there's no residue there. Self-care is everything. Thank you, Daryl, for saying that. Tony, I'm trying to tell the truth. I got my partner on the line with me tonight, and we just having a candid conversation about self-discovery, about the different things and the different levels of self-discovery as well. So you got to have self-care if you're going to discover who you are. If you don't know what you like, if you don't practice self-care, Daryl said, "Good evening, JoJo." You got to practice that stuff. So JoJo, I'm gonna go here. We're talking about self-discovery. What do you think is the key or the keys of self-discovery, and how important is it? Especially as we look good, but we're getting older. So some of us are still discovering who we are each and every day. We holding it down for the 40 and over brothers, but for somebody that's watching that's not in that age bracket, what do you think is the key, or what do you think are the keys, and how important is
it? Every one of us have an inner voice. Every one of us have a heart and some desires that we've always wanted. And I'm talking about realistic things. And I'm not saying that your dreams are unrealistic. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. I'm not talking about stuff like that. Everyone has an inner voice which says, this is something that you should be doing, or this is something that I want to do. And so I believe that those voices will continue to haunt you. And I always tell my clients and anybody that I'm speaking to, hell on earth is having desires and having dreams and ideas and no motivation to execute them. Because those things will run through your head every day. And so what causes me to not have the motivation? What is it something that's preventing me from being able to move forward? So when I say self-discovery, it's looking at those interests that you have. Always setting time aside, whether through some of us don't have access to magazines, so vision boards and all that cutting construction paper, some of us don't have time for that. But something as simple as doing a voice note, something as simple as recording yourself, speaking to yourself on your cell phone, saying, this is what I truly want to do, and this is the desire that I have. And then if you can identify the desire, you can identify what's stopping you from being able to do those things. And it's very important because God put us on earth to find a space of actualization, for us to actualize ourselves. And what I mean by actualize yourself, that means that he put us here, put things in our head. And then the next piece is, what context clues can I find to discover those things and to put myself in a space where I can do those things? You ever met somebody that can just do something so naturally where it just comes to them and they automatically become successful? You may be better than them in it, but they just did it because it was destined for them to follow that path, and they wouldn't let nobody stop them. So in self-discovery, you have to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the broken, and the unhealed spaces too, because maybe all of those things could be a soup. You may have a soup of things that you need to pull out, and maybe the soup would taste better. Right now you're cooking. So whatever ingredient that you're putting in it, if you're putting too much insecurity, it ain't gonna taste good. It probably never make it to the plate. So what avenue, what parts of that soup do I need to pull out? And so that's self-discovery. And I keep telling people, I tell this to my clients, it is fun. It is ugly. It is attractive. It is sexual. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's life. But it's going to be so amazing when you get through it. You know what I mean? It's going to be so, it's like, self-discovery is like going for a walk and seeing somebody who's cute, seeing somebody who's unattractive, seeing somebody you would fuck but not want to be seen with, seeing somebody you would fuck and be seen with, seeing somebody that you let them just eat your box. Like, it's the same thing. So you have moments, and that's how we have to look at it. It's a fun dynamic. That's all I'm saying.
I told y'all my brother is raw and real, but the rawness is what I feel makes people relate to him. Like, everything you're saying is right. And even the piece about the ingredients. And what you can't do is get caught up in the ingredients and forget you're an ingredient in this self-discovery journey.
Yes.
Just because all this stuff is in the pot to make grandma's stew, But don't forget that you're an ingredient as well. And you can't just be giving your ingredient to everybody because everybody isn't worthy of tasting your ingredient.
People love to
Some
ruin
people need.
things. Yeah, people love to
Mm-hmm.
ruin things. There are people who are designed to ruin things. And some of them ruin things without even intentionally trying to ruin things. I'm not going to have a
That's right.
conversation with somebody about what I want to do on social media, somebody who doesn't even have the confidence to post a picture on Facebook or Instagram. So why the fuck am I having a conversation with somebody for them to tell me why that shit ain't important? I mean, I'm going to talk to people who are doing the same thing. You know what I mean? We
That's
run
right.
into the wrong people with our stuff. You trying to talk to somebody about healing yourself who refused to even call a mama. So what the hell do I look like having a conversation with you about trying to heal when you still run around with ghosts and goblins in your goddamn closet? You know what I'm saying? So we got to start. And so part of that self-discovery is, why am I around people like this? Why am I around people like this? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, no,
That's
you're right because if people have to understand on this journey to self discovery, your circle should change. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms. On the journey of self discovery, you're going to find out some ugly things about yourself. You're going to find out some things that are not so pretty. Like that, yeah, Dana, you're gonna find some ghosts and goblins along this journey because you're gonna be like, damn, well, I didn't realize I was that nasty towards people, or that I had this issue or that issue, and it's not meant to be pretty. But in the end, it's like the rainbow after it rains. The rainbow is such a beautiful sight
let me
to
share this
see.
with you. Let me, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Doc, but let me say
No, you're
this.
fine.
The other day, my sister-in-law, who's 29, 28, 29, she's in California. All my family's from California. She put me in, she added me, she pinged me to something in Clubhouse. And when I got in the group, it was like broken black men. And so it was about 50 people on the feed, and I listened and listened and listened. And it was this young brother who said he was 20 years old. And he was just opening up about how he's in a vulnerable space, and he went to his mother to have a discussion. And he said he became emotional, and his mom, who's my age, I'm not sure how old you are, Doc, I'm pretty sure you're early 20s, but you know, they were like, you know, they said his mother was like, you a man, you got to stop that crying, get it together, which was a form of toxic masculinity being pushed on her son, right? So I had to speak, right? So I came in just to make a comment. By the time I was done, I got appointed a moderator. And mind you, I'm in this whole space with about 25 men. And I told them on this space, I said, what's one toxic trait that everyone on this feed have that you probably need to work on fixing? And I said, we're going to start from the top all the way to the bottom. And every one of those black men shared something. And you know what the general consensus was? Lack of confidence, fear, pain, unresolved conflict, expectations of self that I can't meet. No one ever told me how to be something. They just told me I needed to do something. And so
Mm-hmm.
I keep, and what I said, and when you guys are on this space of self-discovery, you're vulnerable. So anything you hear or see or deal with can ultimately put you in a space where they can take you off that path, where they can derail your growth and progression. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good dick can derail your growth and progression. You know what I'm saying? Good sex can derail your growth and progression, young ladies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your girlfriend calling you, bombarding you with their BS every night can derail you from your growth and progression. We got to learn how to set boundaries, and that's part of self-discovery. What are you saying no to? I keep telling people, no is a sentence and a paragraph. No is a sentence and a paragraph. What are you saying yes to that you should be saying no to? For the viewers, I'm asking you, what are you saying yes to that you should be saying no to? And a lot of it may not be from anybody else. It could be, I'm saying yes to not doing nothing. I'm saying yes to my insecurities. I'm saying yes to the fact that I think I'm too old and too fat and too this and too bald to get cute and do something great for myself. I'm saying yes to the fact that I will look crazy going to the gym, so I'm not going to go, as your doctor telling you, you need to walk for an hour every day. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, you're on it. No, we're doing what I intended, what I anticipated the show to do tonight. Somebody's watching who's listening and is getting a breakthrough or some form of healing, because self-discovery can go a number of ways. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, JoJo, because people probably are logging in for thinking one thing and getting a totally different answer from what they thought, that we were going to be discussing. So JoJo has taught us to know your worth. Man, Tony, he talking to you. I'm gonna put his cash app in the bottom in just a second. Sow your seed. No, I love what you were saying, man, because what happens is that confidence piece is key. As a as a young black man, I can speak personally myself. I felt like I lacked confidence growing up. I didn't have the athletic expertise to play sports. I was an asthmatic, so if I ran a football in 5 seconds, my ass was out of breath. I couldn't do it. So I invested my time and my energy into being a bookworm. I was smart. I was a nerd. You saw me with the Steve Urkel red rounded glasses and the braces that I had back then that I now have again, unfortunately, but we're almost done. But yeah, I was that kid. I had the Steve Urkel complex of I was smart, but I lacked confidence. And even though I was excelling academically, I'm able to admit it now that there was some social emotional things that I wasn't able to tap into because I felt like I wasn't a part of the cool kids, or I wasn't a part of the gang with the cool kids. So I did lack confidence. Now I thank you earlier for the 20 something, but your boy gonna be 41 in 16 days. So I'm looking like to see my evolution now. I'm like, okay, that's nothing but God, because I could have been that kid struggling still at this age with confidence issues, with self-discovery issues. But now I'm confident in who I am, where I've been, and how I get here. And how I got here, that I'm just thankful to be to the people like you who I'm able to connect with, and we pour into each other, where we're able to have realistic and raw conversations about topics and things like that, because that's what I feel like us as black men don't have. We got that homeboy to say, hey, let's go to the strip club, throw that money up real quick. Got the homeboy to say, let's go do these hoes, let's go drink, let's go do whatever, do some bald headed hoe shit, stuff like that. But we don't have people to hold us accountable and accountable in the spaces of self care. Just be
let me ask
accountable.
this
Just
question. I'm sorry, Doc. Let me ask you this question. For them brothers that's throwing money at them strippers, I understand that those strippers got lives too, but you're throwing a lot of money at somebody who is only concerned about that. What if you rained that on a young woman who want to feed her kids?
come on.
She would appreciate it more.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But and also
and
you, and then you, and then you. Let me talk about you real quick. This man is 41 years old. He still got a strong ass hairline, and them shoulders are broad as I don't know what, baby. He ready to produce some babies for somebody. And you see that smile?
You know what? I'm not. See, look, you getting Tony started. Tony, we'll talk Tony Phillips. That's my Nikki Parker. I'm Professor Ogilvy. She's like, hey, brother, like, going on. But no, I know, brother. I appreciate you, because that's the other piece about black males as well. Women have a problem saying, "Hey, girl, cute shoes," but brothers have a. There was a issue. A post a couple months ago about black men don't flex the muscle of saying "I love you" to other brothers more often than we should do it. That
You know what I do?
the capacity. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I love
No,
that.
no. I was gonna say the capacity of affirming another, but just say, hey man, we don't do enough of that. And it's not always a competition. One thing about candles have a flame, but they don't compete. They complement each other. And in the world that we live in, most of us are so focused on trying to outdo somebody else that we're here to all compliment and let our light shine, because JoJo can reach somebody that Calvin can't, and Calvin can reach somebody that JoJo can't. But we're all here to complement each other in the same space, and it's not a competition, and it's not a sprint. It's all a marathon. Go ahead, brother.
And you know what though? To take that to the next phase, like I believe that, and I saw that, and I grew up in a patriarch. I grew up with mostly men in my family. It's 6 boys. My mother had 6 men, and I'm in the middle. I got a bunch of older and a few younger, and I'm in the middle. And so all my uncles, all of the women in my family were married in, so it's mostly men. And my mom was the only girl actually. And so the reality of it is that I guess watching my uncles and watch how they uplifted me and how my grandfather said always do that. I love doing it. And even down to just some of my male friends, I say I love you, and I watch how I wear them thin with that I love you shit. Where they initially won't say nothing. sometimes they'll be like, then they get to on that YouTube shit, and then I don't know where they say it back, and I feel it when they say it. And so I live in this neighborhood called Trinidad in DC and Northeast, and there's a lot of, you know, hood dudes around here. And this one dude said something to me when I went this morning to get some tea. He said, you always on your phone. And I looked at him, right? And he said, you get on my nerves. And I said, I get on your nerves. He said, because you won't talk to me. And I said, well, one day I'm gonna give you some. One day I'm gonna give you some words.
Wow.
One day I'm gonna say something to you. One day I'm gonna say something to you. And he was just like, when? And I said, what do you want to talk about? He just said, I just want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a
your light is so powerful that he just said he just wanted somebody to talk to. And I've had similar experiences. I work in a high school, so I work with, you know, Negroes that's in high school that's probably bigger than me and you, but they don't have someone to talk to. They don't have an outlet. They may have confidence, but they can't communicate. They may be able to communicate, but don't have the confidence. So there's a disconnect there where they're looking for just a space like Dialogues with Doc to talk about different things and different topics, and to just be able to be poured into, because not knowing the circumstances or where they live or what they're going through, it may be totally impossible for them to just have a moment to just decompress and be free and talk and have that space. So no, talk to that man.
I will. I'm gonna say something.
So Jojo, look, gosh. Okay, it's gonna be very elementary, but I want to make sure I tackle everybody that's watching, because I don't know what their lens is. Can you describe the difference between a social worker and a counselor? So someone's watching that may think they're the same, but no, y'all, they're totally different. A social worker has a licensure behind them. Like my guest tonight has an MSW and a LGSW. Right? Did I get it right?
Go ahead. That's changing. It's
and he's evolving. So tell somebody who's watching for the first time that doesn't know what the difference is.
Okay, and then social work is so convoluted and complex, right? So in social work, if you come to the table with a license, you can go into any different facets of the field. You can become a therapist. You can become a head case manager. A lot of people think that all we do is like welfare and food stamps and stuff like that. That's a case manager that doesn't. We would probably supervise somebody doing something like that. Now, a counselor, it all depends on how you view a counselor. And so a lot of like, for instance, I've met like licensed practicing counselors who don't believe that social workers can do the same level of clinical work, but we actually have more clinical experience, and we actually know how to deal with the clients better. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand resources in the person's situation. They understand it's like psychological aspects of it, just like we do, but they only come from one angle. So I believe that counseling is more limited. I believe that social work gives you more of a general practice degree where you can also do the complexities of individual counseling and get into that deep, hardcore stuff. And I believe that counseling is very, well, I mean, with all due respect to LPCs and everybody else, I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing.
They're not gonna come for you, and if they do, I got your back. You good? I'm a rock with you.
There's a difference. There's a difference, but there's not a vast difference. I believe that one is licensed, and the other, it depends on which facet you get into. It's kind of weird.
Gotcha. No. Listen, don't. To be honest, I had this question come up tonight just thinking randomly. I said, well, I'm gonna ask JoJo when we get on the show, because hell, I want to know. So JoJo, in the work that you do, it's about to get messy. Don't put nobody on blast, please, because I don't want them coming for me or for you. But think about the work that you do. Why do most people in relationships reach out to you for help? So with the work that you do, and you meet a lot of people, and some people just need advice. Some people just need sound advice. Sound advice from somebody that's not
involved in
partial to one or the other. Yeah. So why do most people reach out to you for help or assistance to just give your input?
Because I understand the person in situation. And I think that you can become an impartial voice with someone who's dealing with a situational dynamic in their relationship. So as a therapist, I understand the person in their situation and then help them get some level of clarity in the space of that. And then as a therapist, I'm able to understand that love is so complex. Love is such a explosion of so many different emotions. There's love, there's respect, there's honor, there's desperation, and then there's fear. And so in a space where somebody says, I don't want to be with him anymore, but then you can't fathom yourself out of the relationship, I'm able to understand that mid space of I don't know what I want to do. And and that's work. So a lot of my friends come to me, and a lot of my clients, anybody in my life, come for me for relationship advice, because I think I'm able to understand and be impartial based on their situations. And then also, a lot of times they just need somebody to vent to. Um, oh, that was a good question. That was a good question. I just read that. So that
Which
was a good
one? Which
question.
one?
Why do
No,
men
I
think
just
I get funerals?
yo, Tony, yeah, Tony said we only say I love you at funerals. Like we're in this thing where families don't communicate, or we. You're right. We only say I love you at a funeral, but if like you said, you tell your homeboys, and you're like, yeah, man, whatever. Hashtag me too, and you're like, no, I really want you to feel it. I really want you to understand that. I hope my mama not watching. I fuck with you the long way, like we boys, like we, you need something, I got you, but we're, we're just not open to, some of us are not open to, receiving that. And it's a capacity
But let me
thing.
tell you something. And one thing I know, when a man loves you, I'm not talking about romantic love. When a man loves you, any man, know that you run the risk of being captured and held, or also he loves you enough to whoop your ass too and stop you from doing something you shouldn't do. So I tell people, when a black man fall in love with you, and I'm not talking about romantic love, he is going to either help you or kick your ass when you need to have your ass kicked. Because I didn't have my best friend pull up on me. Huh?
What's this you going there? Let's go there. Why do you think so many black males shy away from therapy and healing? So, like you said, when a black man, we talk about the love of black men and how they say it and how they mean it. But there's a whole remnant of us out there that therapy, healing, talking to somebody, oh, I don't communicate, oh, I don't talk. Healing, I ain't down with that. Why do you think so many of us shy away from those topics of therapy and healing?
Stigma,
Mm-hmm.
fear, unknown, their thought process of what that looks like in the way that's marketed on both social media. It seems soft for some men. The way, being prideful, not feeling that you can talk to someone or you need the help. Also, just being private and not wanting to share, and sometimes struggling with sharing those ideas because maybe in some space they have been shot down, or you just don't know how to say it, how to put it into words. So there's so many different complexities as to why I think black men shy away from it. I think if more black men access therapy, and now let me make myself extremely clear because I hate to make generalizations. I think if more men in my community started to get a better understanding of healing and coping and therapy, I don't think that they will be so turned off to it. You see how that sounds?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to me saying,
Yeah.
I think more black men access therapy. Like that's a suggestion that I'm saying all black men need help, and that's not the case. We all need someone to talk to, but I do believe if we marketed and had a better ability to show that therapy is a healing mechanism for self, as opposed to you just having to go to therapy because your girl want to go to therapy, I believe that it wouldn't be such a stigma. You got to remember that a lot of us come from communities where there are only two options. We have services set up in certain communities, like black communities, where it deals with pathology or adjudication. And so a lot of times pathology deals with emotional mental discrepancies, which can ultimately lead you to harm of self and others, or put you in a position of jail time. So there's nothing in place to help black men seek, or in some communities to help men seek that space of development, being able to build better soft skills, hard skills, coping strategies, communication. I think it's so refreshing when I see men of all walks of life, both gay and straight, who want to sit down and talk, not to dominate the conversation, not to be authoritative, but to sit down and try to be able to come to a space of understanding. I think that's the most
I
important
love
thing.
it.
Yeah, I think that's
I,
important.
I, No, you're right, and the guests that are the viewers are watching are chiming in too. So Dana said pride. Tony said you so real, and some people don't want textbook therapy. I want to be called out on my mess. Dana said men have trust issues. They don't trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony. Everyone should go see a therapist. Roderick, I see you, man. Blacks are thought to be strong at all times. Black people will see them as weak. We need to stop the vicious cycle on treatment, especially mental treatment. That is so profound and so powerful. Maya's chiming in. That's why I ride for a long time with JoJo. He's helped me along the way. Period. Like these are what you're saying, man. Is like I wanted to have someone in the trenches to provide insight because it's one of those things where we don't talk about it enough. And like you said, the whole journey of self-discovery can go either way for men, for women, for gay, for straight, for whomever. And it's a constant evolving journey that it's not like I'm driving to California. When I get there, I'm done. When I leave California and come back to the East Coast, there's another avenue I have to go down or go this back way or go that way. So the journey of self discovery is always ever evolving. It's
Ongoing.
always some
Ongoing.
twists and turns.
It's going to
It's
always be
ongoing.
ongoing work. Like I tell people, healing self is ongoing work because you don't heal and stop living. There are things that can come over the hill after you've healed yourself. They got to start back all over. So I believe that always having consciousness of self, or looking at something and can say, you know what, I don't think I'm done with that yet. Or I'm still working through that, and I probably need to work further with that. I think all of those things are important. So the journey is always ongoing. And there will be times where you may drop the ball. I have. There may be times where you like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm good. What did Kanye West say? I told God I'll be back in a second. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you like, sometimes I need to step out of the healing space and just do some ball-headed whole shit or do some wild stuff. And then I'm going to come back to it. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Right.
Yeah.
Just let me have my moment. Let me decompress and come back to what the issue is and pick it back up. There's nothing wrong with that. Like you have to have those moments to do that. Joseph, somebody said you helped them as well. Rod said he praises you for that. Thomas said I expected nothing less from Joseph Williams. He was real when he worked in the schools. So I didn't know you used to work in the schools. So see, I'm learning stuff tonight.
Yes,
Connecticut Avenue.
So most of my clinical experience came from level 4, level 5 schools, working as a counselor. And I will say this: anybody who's watching me, who have ever watched me, who have ever done therapy with me, I want people to understand this. I became a wonderful therapist. I became a pleasant therapist. I became a great therapist. And I'm only quoting what they've told me because I'm never going to be self-righteous. I was challenged. Right. I was taught. I was led by young Black men and women, teenagers, children, who put me to the test and made me work, who gave me context clues, who made me go on a journey of therapy to become a better therapist. And then I concluded that work when I took myself to therapy and I felt what it felt like to sit on the other side of the chair. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah. And I remember sitting in the other side of the chair and I'm sitting there like, yo, I feel like they judging me. I feel like this. And now I started to understand why the clients. So most of my clinical work came from young adults and young children in the school system who taught me how to be better at what I do and to be real, because they can see when you faking. They can see when you ain't bringing the truth. They can feel it. They're like, they don't
oh, yeah.
What you do. Yeah.
And they will call you out.
They will call you out.
They be like, this ain't the one or the two. He got to get out of here.
They be like, child. Right.
So I want to go back. We're almost done. I promise you. Like we're almost done. Thank you so much for all of this tonight. The last time I saw you in your vein was 2 years ago. When you were in your vein, I mean you were in the work in the trenches. We were at the I Elevate conference with Bishop O.C. Allen, and I was working with the client, and you were on the platform doing your thing, doing some major work. So I wanted to tap into LGBT advocacy. So I wanted to tap in this as we talk about the journey of self discovery. And you talked about tonight, or we both talked tonight about, we work with students and helping. This is some of the work that we do. Learning to become who they are, learning to discover themselves, as well as working with adults as well that you work with. So, can you talk about some of the work you've done as far as helping the LGBT community members advocate for themselves on this road to self discovery?
That's part of it, self-discovery. What I started to see, and I'm gonna say this, I love my LGBTQIA community. And I will say this, what I started to realize was that there was a lot of stuff on social media that was catering to people's anger and catering to people's lack of self-love. And so a lot of stuff that we saw on social media from LGBTQ activists and advocates that were self-proclaimed was only spewing anger towards other communities that they didn't feel accepted them, right? And so what I felt was that we need to all put it back to self, because you're going to be mad at everybody. What about you do you need to fix? Because I tell people, if you can point out what needs to change with people, change it with yourself first. You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So what I felt I needed to do to Black gay men and to all people of the LGBTQ experience was to speak from a different angle. A lot of stuff that I saw, not people's experiences, what I was seeing on social media and what I saw was making it to the top were stuff that was hateful and bitch, that's why I'm doing this and fuck you. And it was never anything that can help a person look at self and say, okay, this person may not accept me. Have you thought about this person has no bearing on your future development and growth, and this person is just ignorant? And so I wanted to empower. And I wanted to inspire, not empower through words of violence or reading somebody or turning a phrase, but how can you empower yourself beyond that? Like I always tell gay men, why are you concerned about a dude that stands in front of a liquor store all day with his hands in his pants calling you a faggot while you on your way to work? You're concerned about somebody who's literally sitting out in front of a liquor store in a lawn chair, drinking a beer and smoking K2 who called you a faggot while you on your way to your job, paying for the home that you own. And that one word broke you. So we got to get you to a space where that one word means nothing. Not that you're above him, but you're allowing that person who you literally are looking down upon, you know what I'm saying, break you. So that means that space of you is unbroken. You only become a faggot when you make yourself think that that's something that can hurt you. You understand where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring it from a space of empowerment, not violence, not hurting others to make yourself feel good, but instead to empower. So my advocacy work was only an ode and a love song and a space of healing for me that I decided to share with other people. Now, let me make it very clear to you. I was healing myself in the process of sharing with other people. And I get a little emotional because
I'm sorry.
I haven't gone live in a very long time, in a few months, and I know people have been asking, and I'm coming back this month. But I always tell people I had to reevaluate a lot of stuff. And I was talking to a very dear friend that I won't name, somebody who's near and dear to my heart, who I love tremendously. And they say that was created out of a space of brokenness. And you see how many people you mended in that space of brokenness. I was heartbroken. The field of social work had broke my spirit. Working for DC government and trying to be great as a young Black man and having that pushed back at you broke my spirit. And I felt like no one wanted to hear me. No one wanted to hear what I had to say. So I decided one day, after doing a video only 2 people watched, that, I was talking to Miss Lawrence from, Miss Lawrence, Lawrence, Washington. In Atlanta, we were talking. I said, well, don't nobody want to hear what I want to have. No one wants to hear what I have to say. And Miss Lawrence said, well, child, honey, if they ain't listening, honey, say what the fuck you want to say then. And that's when I started speaking my truth. And in that process, everything came together. And I realized that, damn, here it is. I am healing other people through this process. Mm-hmm. And so that's the reason why I kind of slid into LGBTQ advocacy and activism and everything else. But I'm for all people. I just so happen to walk in a particular community.
Yeah, no. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to touch on that topic tonight. I said, you know what? As I was preparing my show notes, I said, well, it's only one person I can ask about this, and it's JoJo. So let me throw in there because I constantly work with students every day in high school who are struggling with their own self-identity issues. So if I'm struggling with self-identity issues, I can't discover myself. So there are certain people like you who are lights in the community, who are lights in their professions, who are lights in their school buildings, who are spreading love and doing it with a certain standard of care to help them along the journey. Because we know at home they're not getting it. That's why they're coming to you, or they're coming to me, or coming to someone that they have a relationship with to kind of help pour back into them, because they're coming from broken homes and broken areas, and they need someone that they can confide in to share. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going. And there's someone like us that's there to spread love and light, to help them push a little bit further to, no, it's going to be okay. We've all gone through this self-discovery phase. And this isn't the first time. This won't be the last time. You'll probably have this shit happen 3, 4, 5 more times before you die. But it's just who we are. And this is just a part of life. So, no, thank you for that. Because I'm totally missed. So I did go back and correct my slides before I get some hate mail. I did add the I and the A. I forgot about them earlier, but I went back and changed it to the LGBTQIA. So don't.
Let me tell you something. That community want every letter in the alphabet, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And all of those letters are vastly different from one another. They're vastly different from one another, and they lump the whole community together, which is funny. But a lot of those letters, a lot of those statements in the acronym mean something totally different from what I represent. I represent the G in that acronym. And it's so funny. It's so funny how everybody's lumped together and everybody has a separate set of, it's like saying people of color. And people of color needs are all different. You understand where I'm coming from? It's really funny. It's like everybody from the LGBTQIA community, a white gay man is very different from a black gay man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
no, you're right. You can't put everybody together. It's like, it's not a cookie cutter type thing. You're right. You're saying you have to acknowledge everybody in different ways, because there's levels to this. There's levels to this whole thing, and people aren't aware. But there are people like you to help get them together and correct them and be like, no, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. This is how you fix it, and use the right pronoun when you're fixing it. So look, JoJo, I always end my show like this. Tell the people what's going on with you, what's coming down the pipeline, and how they can keep in contact with you or keep up with you.
Okay.
So what you can share, because I know you probably got some stuff that you can't release and share, but what can you share, and how can they keep up with you?
Okay, so I'm actually going to be releasing a book very soon. That's been taking up all of my time. I'll be releasing a title very soon. Also, I'm going to be returning with the Misunderstood Social Workers Nightly Reflection, which will be premiering in the next couple of weeks. I got some new subject matters and some new approaches, and then also I'll be adding something in the same tradition of the Nightly Reflection, where we're going to be doing more discussion stuff. I'll be having Doc on my show very soon. I'm saying it on paper, and so I will be having the Doc Calvin Green on my show very soon, because I'm going to highlight more of us and more Black men. I am also going to be, there's some other stuff going on.
Put a pin in it for now, because I know you want to say something, but
and you can also find me. You can also find me on Facebook as Joseph Williams, the Misunderstood Social Worker. You can find me on Instagram, the Misunderstood Social Worker, and you can also find me on Clubhouse. I'm gonna tell you this, Calvin. The other day I was on Clubhouse, and I was on there from 10:45 p.m. until 5 in the morning, and literally talking that long with a group of Black men, and it became such a beautiful, beautiful space. So I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be creating a club on Clubhouse. Unfortunately, right now, Clubhouse is only available to people with iPhones, but I'm sure they're going to be opening that back up, and you got to get a request and everything. Right. So just like Instagram, remember guys, Instagram was only actively available to iPhone users initially. And so that's That's what it is with Clubhouse. So make sure y'all join
Listen,
Clubhouse because
listen.
that's where the magic happens.
I'm about to date myself. Remember in undergrad when you had to have EDU email to get College Club or Facebook?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
no, so y'all do me a favor. Keep up with my brother. Like he's doing some major things, and I promise you, Jojo, I'm gonna get active on Clubhouse more. I've accepted my invite. I'm on there, but hell, I got so much
you
other
know what
stuff
though?
going
But you know
on.
what, though, Calvin? Why don't we do something together over there? Why don't we create a room
Okay.
over there together and we can bring some stuff? And I can talk to you a lot more seriously off of this platform about
Yeah.
marketing because it's crazy. Like when you go over there and you say that you're a Black male therapist, they're going to flock. And so the only thing that I would say is that you got to create boundaries. You got to create boundaries. You got to create boundaries because once they start following you, they'll ping you and bring you in as the expert. And then you're like, okay, I had an abortion yesterday. What should I do? And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so I'm not licensed in Pennsylvania, so I don't know what to tell you to do. You know what I mean? So,
You're
but ultimately, I think that we should create like something like a concept like Black Man Hill or something really dope,
yeah.
or where we can actually have a dialogue amongst one another because I would love to support each other. And then once you get off, you'll look at all of your social media and you'll be like, okay, 30 new people just follow me because of this, and whatever. And it helps you expand, but it also helps you touch the masses. And what I've noticed is that the youth are over there. And I'm not talking about kid youth, I'm talking about older youth, like 24, 25, who are hungry and thirsty for healing and for a space, And I remember just like this dude told me, he said, yo, you got bars. And I'm like, I'm not a rapper. He was like, you just spit bars, like already, you know what I mean? And so he said, it's the Black man therapist thing for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just all I need. You know what I mean? So I think that maybe me and you could sit down and have a discussion because I would love to work with you. And I told myself this year, coming back with my new season, that I want to connect more with my brothers who work in this field. And it ain't about me shining, it ain't about what I could take from you or what you can take from me. Because like I tell people every day, Dr. Calvin Green is amazing, but he's not me and I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's what makes us different. And two flames on a candle can burn separately and still create an amazing aroma. And Black men love scented candles too. So we here. You know what I mean?
Listen, don't look. It'd be more of us at the Bath and Body Works with the bags for the semi-annual than the ladies. No, you are so right. Let's definitely do it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there as well. JoJo, the misunderstood social worker, will be back on Dialogues with Doc in the near future because we will need a part 2 to tonight. So, my brother, I applaud you. I thank you. I'm so appreciative of you joining me tonight. For those of you who are watching, please follow him at the Misunderstood Social Worker on Instagram. He said Joseph Williams on Facebook, the Misunderstood Social Worker. Follow him. Keep up with him. He's doing some amazing things, and I'm just so honored and so privileged that my brother joined me on tonight. This has been this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. I will see you guys again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, please like the broadcast. Please share the broadcast. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. JoJo, don't log out this shit, okay? Stay on for me. This has been Dialogues with Doc, and I will see you guys again on next Wednesday.